when I say Sattvic food, there is a real need of Sattvic food for the senior citizens and people who really want to have that healthy food. So that made me, think. Today, if I look back and think, the risk, you can take risk, but you should know how to maneuver your way. You have to own up your decision. Tomorrow, you should not come back and say, I didn't know about this, because you have got exposure to all the people. So always I had that in my mind that I should start something like this. So it was always there, and it was not a surprise or anything. So parents should take up the ownership on them, and then they have to do some homework and come back to the kids and say that this is what it is, and support them.
The sponsor for this episode is a social media agency called Paperplay. Paperplay as a company understand your requirement, strategize your social media play, help you with the social media calendar, complete account management, and finally analyze the analytics. So if you're an entrepreneur, reach out to Paperplay for your social media needs. More details in the description below.
Our guest for today is Mrs. Srivathsala. She has multiple companies that are into wealth management, Sattvic food, venture capitalist funding, astrology, and much more. So let us hear more from her. Hello Srivathsala ma'am, thank you for agreeing to be part of the Talk of Town podcast. So I think we went through your profile, and there is diversification from, being into finance to Sattvic food. There is astrology. There's so many different areas that you work in. Now, if someone asks you, what do you do? How would you define yourself?
Yeah. Thank you, Raksha, for having me here. It's a pleasure to talking to you. I'm an entrepreneur. I really want to solve real problem in this society. So all the businesses which I have started are all having some real problem to solve. When I say Sattvic food, there is a real need of Sattvic food for the senior citizens and people who really want to have that healthy food. And when you talk about astrology, people really looking for purpose. So astrology can give that purpose very clearly. And if you talk about finance, obviously finances, everybody wants to know about their financial health and everything. So everything was a natural progression for me to start first with the finance and then consulting, which is for the companies, and then to Sattvic food, and all that related. It's evolved naturally.
But I think it's a lot of things. So how do you, in terms of when you are asked, is there a link? Is there a common thread that you're able to draw other than problem solving, or is it just out of interest that all these were born?
No, there is a strong driver for sure. So something to do to the society, something to work very closely with people, and that is a strong driver for me, motivation for me.
Beautiful. That brings me to this next question of your childhood. Because I think I know that you are a South Indian. And growing up in South India, I think the focus is on education, and then getting a good job, getting married, having children, having a well-settled family. Now, having said that, that is the typical background. So how was it for you, and what has your journey been?
So I grew up in a academic environment. My father is a retired principal of a college.
Wow.
So we had very, very academic atmosphere at home. And I'm fortunate to say that my parents guided me on every aspect of it. So I can just tell you some of the examples. I think that these are the skills which I picked up from my childhood. I remember once my father wanted to withdraw salary, and I was in 7th standard, and he wrote a check and he gave it to me and saying that go to the bank and get the check. Get the money. So my mother was saying, no, she's very young. If she loses or something.
Yeah.
No, he said, no, I want her to get exposure. So let her go. But he guided me like, this is the entrance of the bank. Left side, somebody will be there. And then you go to the counter, you take a token, and then don't go far away from that counter because you will not hear. To that extent, he guided me. And then my first exposure was that. At 7th standard, I withdraw the salary and gave it to my father. So that made me, think. Today, if I look back and think, the risk you can take risk, but you should know how to maneuver your way. You should be having the information to do that. Uncertainty will be there.
Yeah.
Probably that was one of the the incidents which I can recollect, which made me at very young age to be independent and go and explore.
Wow.
Yeah. And the other one, I remember that even today, he's very particular about the stationery, the way he writes and everything. He had written something on a postcard, those days postcards, 15 paisa. So entire matter was written, and I entered his room and he said, why don't you write address? He wanted to train. That was, again, 8th, 9th standard time. So he told me that Mysore, it was posted to Mysore. So he said, Mysore, you need to write it in capital letter because it will get missed. So I was writing and, halfway I got distracted and I wrote Mysore in small letters. So he said, no, I told you. He's got a lot of patience. So he said, I told you, but you have done it again. But I want you to remember this lesson. So I don't mind losing 15 paisa. Also my time. So he tore it and he rewrote the entire thing and he gave me, now you write. I remember till now not to take anything casually. So everything has to be sincerely attempted. I think that's something which I remember. My childhood was like this, and I think, as we talk, I can and share you more experience which shaped up a lot of my thinking, I can say.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think thinking independently
Yeah.
is one of the biggest lessons that we take away from, being a child.
Yeah.
So having said that, we are constantly at home told, because I'm from South India too, and I can talk for myself that you have to study. This is a path. There were I think probably engineering, medical, all. Most other than these two, it is law.
Yeah.
You have to do this and get a job, get married. So what was it for you? Was there a framework defined? Because what you're doing now it does not fit the frame at all.
Yeah. So importance to education was the paramount.
Yeah.
And that was no compromise on that. There is no, concession on that.
Yeah.
Definitely, I was definitely coached, not forced, but told multiple times that that's the way to go. But my parents never restricted me on taking up. But I remember one more. I come from a science stream, but I wanted to be a doctor. But I didn't get a normal seat. I got a payment seat, and those days payment seat it's considered to be very inferior, and you should not be taking up, and all those things were there. So, but I said no, I will change my line completely. So I'll take up finance and CA. So I met a couple of people. My father facilitated meeting a couple of people, and finally I made up my mind, and I went back to him, said that I want to change my line. So he spoke to me for 5-10 minutes and he explained me that, when you go to CA directly, you will be the last bench because you have to restart everything. You will not know anything. You have to start. I'm perfectly fine with the decision, but you have to own up your decision. Tomorrow, you should not come back and say, I didn't know about this, because you have got exposure to all the people. I have told you everything. You don't have to answer me now. You think about it, come back and tell me. And there are risks, you may not, neither you are here nor there. That situation will also. So I think that made me, I never expected my father will put all the responsibility on me. But he was very open. He said, I'm not going to stop you, but you should own up your decision.
Yeah.
So after a while, and I went back to him, I said, no, I'll completely own it up. And I think being an entrepreneur, this is very important that you have to own up your decision. You can't say that I wish I knew this, I would have not gone to this path. Or if I had a team, good team, I would have delivered. If somebody told me to do this, I would have done this. No, it doesn't work. That is not there with me at all. From that day onwards, I take it up. Completely responsibilities on me.
Got it.
Yeah.
So then, did you go on to complete your CA after that?
No, I completed halfway and then I moved to financial services.
Wow. Okay.
Somewhere there I felt that, I am more inclined towards investments, goal oriented planning,
Yeah.
and all that. So I moved into that. I did my certified financial planner course and I moved into that.
Very nice. So, from there to entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
what was that journey like, and what was that decision, or maybe an incident or a turning point where you decided that I'm going to be on my own?
Raksha, it was always there in my mind. I never wanted to work. It was those days. I think service industry was not there. So majority of it was manufacturing.
Yeah.
If I remember myself, maybe 7th, 8th standard, when you start forming your opinion about or what your choices about the career or something, I used to remember that there is a huge factory. And then some owner, those days founders are also, that
Yeah.
word was also not used. You see that entire factory, and usually it is a garment factory.
Yes.
Where there are so many women working, and then employment and all that. So always I had that in my mind that I should start something like this. So it was always there, and it was not a surprise or anything, and always I looked for an opportunity to be on my own.
Okay.
And not like be on my own in the sense that run something very small or something. I've always thought very big, and I'm thinking very big that I want to have a massive establishment kind of thing. Yeah, it was there in my mind.
So I think that also comes with the kind of environment you were in, and I think with the way you're speaking about your family, they always encouraged you to
Yes,
do that.
yes.
So I think that's incredible, and more parents should have that kind of trust on their kids so that they make it big.
See, they not only trust, they have to educate.
Educate.
It's
Yeah.
because world is very distracted, and getting a right guidance is also very difficult. So parents should take up the ownership on them, and then they have to do some homework and come back to the kids and say that this is what it is, and support them.
Yeah.
Once they know that this kid is taking with the full information, then they should back it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should be there. Yeah.
Superb. Now, I know we have spoken before this, and I know you're very passionate about finance and wealth management.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us a little bit about your business when it comes to this area? And I know you passionately speak about women being financially independent,
Yeah.
women being financially literate.
Yeah.
So, if you can tell us about your business itself, and what is it that you envision for women in general?
Yeah. So, women research studies shows very clearly that women are wired very differently than men.
Yeah.
And that wiring, that thought process, the risk perception is very good for financial management.
Okay.
Yeah. So many women, they don't understand this. And if you see at one time, almost all the banks of Indian banks were headed by women.
Yes, women.
And if you see, in my experience, I have seen wherever women they have involved in financial planning for their family, those finances are done very well. And people, the women who have stayed out of this, I don't see so much of progress there. So I strongly believe that women should get involved in family finances. Also, having their own financial independence, whether they're working, not working, it doesn't matter, but they should have it. Definitely, if they're working, it is totally a different scenario. But
Yeah.
having said that, they can take out some money for themselves, and they can have their own aspirations and independence to spend that kind of money, and everything should be there.
Yeah.
So I started wealth management and financial planning 15 years back.
Okay.
And it's a very boutique, specialized firm. where we one-to-one guidance we give. And usually people with a diverse background, they take advice from us. IT professional, doctors, entrepreneurs, business people, when traditional business owners, everybody is there in this global. I mean, we have clients from UK, US, and Canada, and Singapore. All the places we guide them.
Okay.
So what is special in this case is that we focus on their goals, and we apply all the principles of portfolio management, the rebalancing, be it risk appetite, measuring that, and everything we take care. And we do it. So, Raksha, in financial planning or any financial this thing, I think success, if you ask me how one gets success in financial life, so people think that you should have more money. It is not so. It is the discipline. It is the discipline. First thing, if I financial freedom equals discipline. If somebody is disciplined enough to measure their finances, measure their expenditure, very prompt in reviewing and taking guidance if they don't know, and monitoring those investments is the success factor. So other than that, there's nothing. People first think about tax saving.
Yeah.
I feel I tell all my clients, and anywhere, wherever I speak, tell one thing, that please earn first, then think about this thing. If your investments are giving good return, and out of that paying tax, you should be feeling proud to pay tax.
Yes.
So that's how it started. And I think women, if I have to elaborate more for women, I think they have to educate. It's not difficult. It's a fear which is stopping women from doing that.
Yes. I wanted to ask you that just because the scenarios have changed now.
Yeah.
We have more and more women in the workforce.
Yeah.
Yet, I believe that there are areas where, she's earning, she's independent, but there's a man taking care of her finances even now. There is a repulsion, like you said, there's fear of or lack of education. I'm not sure what it is, but have you, as a financial planner and a wealth advisor, have you seen that shift where more women are coming forward and saying, I want to manage my money, and are they coming forward to get literate?
Definitely there is a shift, but not enough shift that which I can say that there is a trend. So still there is a fear. Still there is a some hesitation in taking up that responsibility. Again, it's stemming from fear. And also maybe women have become very conveniently passing on their responsibility to someone else in the family. So that I think that shift has to happen.
Right. Yeah. So like you said, yes, there are women, but I think not as much as you want them to come forward. Yeah. Now, I think I read in your portfolio about you being on the board of Sobha Limited, a very reputed real estate company. Now, again, I think it's a total deviation from what we spoke earlier, but as a woman in that position, how has your experience been, and is it any different for you as someone who is into finance and then being here? So can you just take us through that journey, how that happened, and how has it been?
So independent directors are a mandatory requirement. And there are a lot of companies who are looking for independent directors to get a value addition on their boards. And they want to bring in diversity and, all that, is there. And there is an exam for which independent directors should take up and all that. So there's no different. My experience has been very good. Attending meetings and knowing the growth of that company, for that matter, their journey is very exciting, and I look forward for those meetings. And I think it's governance, more of a governance. And when you say governance, a lot of financial details are involved, part of the profile, and I think I really enjoy that.
Okay. So any learnings that you've had as an independent director of a big company like that?
So a lot of learnings, because it's a large setup and business model, be it the employee management to the business strategy
Yeah.
and to the compliance matters. Everything is a exposure and a learning. Yeah, in terms of that. Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, I couldn't help but ask you this question. Where did astrology come in all of this?
See, everybody wants to know their purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you ask anyone, they will say, "I wish I know what do I want to do." That's a big question. People who are wanting a very fulfilling life,
Yeah.
when they are away from distraction, I believe the first question hits them: am I in the right path?
Yeah.
Am I doing the right thing? Is there any other path which gives me quicker success or satisfaction or happiness? As human beings, we always look for happiness, eternal happiness. We
Yeah.
all know that, that eternal happiness is the soul is seeking.
Yeah.
Now, I was looking at multiple options, that how do I find out the purpose? Whatever I'm doing, is it right? And many people, since you are into multiple things, they come and ask me, do you think that I should be working? Do you think that I should be starting on my own?
Asking you for advice.
Yes. That keeps happening.
Yeah.
And then they get their kids and ask me, his or her aptitude is in this line, but child is wanting to choose this. What is your advice? So it is all like, my experience. I don't know, hardly I know their background. If they're my clients, at least I know from a
Something,
financial
yeah.
background or from their family background, I can guide them. But out of the blue, totally randomly, if you come, then the science of astrology really intrigued me. Again, it's a family, it is there in the family.
Oh,
My
okay.
grandfather, my
Okay.
father, everybody, they're not professionally astrologers per se, but they do consult for very close circle.
Okay.
So from very young age, I've seen my grandfather writing a book on astrology, and still I have the handwritten copy of him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, it's called Jyotishya Bhalabodhe. So he has compared stars and our life in a very different way.
Okay.
So that was intriguing to me from very young age, but I couldn't do all these days because of so many other things. And then now, during COVID, I went a little more deeper into the subject.
Okay.
And because everybody had time at the time
Yeah.
to do it. And then that is what evolved, and I professionally started taking the certifications. And then, as I'm already there in consulting, so the moment I just wanted to share this news with the people, and then I sent a message saying that I'm certified now astrologer and a numerologist and everything. This was just, I wanted them to know, but then I got an overwhelming response saying that, when can we come and consult you?
Wow.
So that is how it started.
Okay.
And then, I take up very, very, selectively, where there is real need. And I think the specialization is again towards business. So
Okay.
business,
Okay.
numerology, name correction and everything, more to do with that.
Okay. That was my next question to you.
Yeah.
Like, is there a specific area that you work
Yeah,
under?
yeah.
Okay. Now, do you see that? Again, I think with spirituality, with astrology,
Yeah.
there's always it's sort of shifting in scenarios. Like, there's a sense of vulnerability, and then there's a different culture that comes forward. Have you seen a shift in the way people are approaching such concepts like astrology, or businesses? Are they more believers, or are there more?
So, Raksha, you see 19 generation to 2000. So if you see 2000 born people are more vulnerable for mental illness. If you see more of mental illness, and then the holding capacity, the willpower and everything, if you see very less suicides, be it suicides, be it addictions, and everything is more. And parents and everybody, they're looking for some kind of a guidance, some kind of a knowledge, higher power, which can give some belief system, I can say, which can give that strength to the people.
Okay.
To take on the challenges of life.
Yeah.
So I do see a big shift, and I can very clearly see that that's going to play a more role in next 30 years.
So you're saying more and more people are
More
subscribing
and more,
to
yes,
this?
yes, subscribing. You can see the number of channels, number of celebrity astrologers, and then business people consulting, and they're very open. Earlier, it used to be closed. So, public, they used to say no. I don't believe, but then they used to consult. Today,
Yeah.
they are very open in saying, yes, I consulted.
Yeah.
And then I do see a trend of having a personal coach, astrology coaches, where they want to align with their cosmic energies with their regular whatever they want to do. So I do see a big shift in people's mind.
Yeah, I think also social media has played a really big role
Exactly.
here.
Yes.
People are more vocal about their belief systems.
Yeah.
Youngsters are coming and
Yeah,
joining this drive. Now, you mentioned the word channel, and I know you're very active participant on the TTD channel as well.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that? Because I found it very interesting. Because in today's world, I believe that everyone's very quick to say, I'm very busy. The first thing you don't pick up phone, I'm very busy. But having read and listened to you about the different things you do, you're still accommodating for things that you truly believe in.
Yeah.
So tell us about the TTD thing.
It's a pure blessing. I can say it's a blessing. And we all know that Tirupati Balaji is favorite of many people.
Yeah.
And since childhood, he has been my guide. And in fact, even today, I complain to him, and I talk to him, in my own way. I think when this came, initially I was a little worried because it's live. So you can't edit and you can't do that, and it's a lot of preparation is involved, because it's not that you can't generally speak. You need to have knowledge of the scriptures.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But the good thing is that during COVID we started learning under proper guru the scriptures.
Okay.
Last 5 years have been learning every day. So that helped me in generating or preparing the content, and I really enjoyed the preparation of content more than
The delivery
this
itself.
delivery, because because when you're delivering, you go very deep into the subjects, and you understand, and you refer so many things. And then when I went and delivered, it was a pure blessing, and I think I could see that divine energy flowing. And that's about it.
So while I was devising questions, right, normally we would like to consolidate and talk about one, but I think the areas that you are contributing to right now are all independently very important. You're targeting segments that are, widely it's very much work is needed in those areas. So we have totally segmented it, and I'm again going to bring up another segment that you very actively work on, that is Sattvic food. And I think attached to that is also a non-profit organization. So please tell us about it. What motivated you to do it? And two, what is the kind of work that goes there?
Yeah. So Raksha, this is again, a lot of senior citizens are there in Bangalore, as you know. Their kids have gone abroad, and then they have to manage their household, and otherwise they have to go to senior citizens home. So fortunately, I have been having good support system for myself in terms of cooks and others for last 15-20 years. So it all started with some of my relatives started asking me, how do you find cooks? So you keep getting some people, why don't you get us also some cooks? So I made some effort to get them, but every 3 days they come back saying that they're not working, or they're taking leave, you're not able to manage, something like that. So once there were a couple, very close relatives, they said that we are finding it very difficult, get me another one. So looking at them, I told my husband that I can't see, I keep getting calls like this. Why don't I'll prepare some, I'll ask my cook to prepare some 10 or 15 meals, but they should agree to take it from my driver. So then he said, it's a big responsibility. You can't solve this problem like this. You can do it for 10 days. And then we go on a travel or something. What will
Correct.
happen? They will start becoming dependent on you.
Yeah.
So you already have got two companies. You know, if you really feel that this is another thing which you need to do, you should start. So that is what made me
Wow.
to start. And I
Okay.
think there's an interesting story about it. So it all started very small. We wanted to try with 25 people, and then we found a place and everything happened. How do you find people? How do you tell? So we thought that I'll call some of the people and we will call them and say that we have started. So I called them and they said, no, you do one thing. You just 5-6 sentences, you send me a write up in WhatsApp and we will send it to our circle. So I drafted one and then I sent it. Within half an hour it went viral.
Wow. Okay.
And then it was about 3:30 in the evening. I sent it casually. I sent it, and then I started getting calls from Singapore, Madurai, Bangalore, Delhi, so many places that my parents live here. Parents live here. Can you please accommodate? And I think people started sending me again and again from Singapore. My friends, they didn't know that we are the people, so they started sending me, look at this, do you can send it to someone. And then we started with only 2 lines that day. Then I had to ask my relatives to say that you please, I will forward this. That was the thing. First day itself there were 300 people opted.
Wow.
And then we didn't know how to do
Manage,
it. And
yeah.
then we cut down to 150. Second day we cut down to 80. Third day we cut down to 60. And then I took a call saying that 10 days I will stop. So we stopped on fourth day. And then after 10 days again we started with all the learnings what we got.
Yeah.
So that is the need which I saw. And mostly these are the people who are senior citizens and they want Sattvic food because it's healthy and also non-spicy
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
And then we started as a prasada. So it is Vandyam Sattvic Bliss is we have a puja room with saligrama, and there is a priest who comes in the morning at 5:30 and does the puja, does the naivedyam, and then it gets mixed to our regular food, and then it goes to senior citizens.
Wow.
Then what happened is that looking at this, a lot of hospitals they adopted because again it's very much suitable.
Yes.
And then there's an NGO which takes a lot of people who want for their kids. It's quite today. And then the corporates.
Yeah.
Finally, corporates also started adopting. We have across all segments. We have today customers for one day.
Nice. So is this like an app or is there a daily menu? How does the business work?
So we take orders from WhatsApp, and also we have our regular lines, customer support lines where they can order. They can also order through website. We
Okay.
don't have app as of now,
Okay.
but then they can order from all these means.
All these. Okay.
Yeah.
Super. Now, the next area that you're working in is funding.
Yeah.
You're also a venture capitalist. And it's a very interesting project because I think campus funding is something that is neglected. I think, students are not taken seriously.
Yeah.
And you have tapped into that. And I have myself been into teaching and I see that there's a lot of enthusiasm. But for me, it was very short-lived. But I'm sure you have encountered a lot of scenarios like that. So tell us a little bit about the campus funding that you do.
So Raksha have been associated with the startup ecosystem and also MSME, SME as a consultant. So a lot of startups comes to me for consulting, pitching, and then changing their business models and capital restructuring for that matter, due diligence, and readiness for the funding, how to go about shift in their strategy, even for closure. In fact, I have recommended for few people that don't go in this direction because you will be burning money, and either you shift your strategy or please go close down. Don't worry about, unless you'll be wasting another 5 years of your time.
Yeah.
So being associated with IITs as a mentor, and that is how Campus Fund Venture Capital approached me for being on their board, and they fund students and student-led startups,
Okay.
very serious startups who are into different industries, who are wanting to create some impact, also some disruption. That is how it happened. And Campus Fund today funds across the industry, and from a space, the company which makes spacecrafts to flying aeroplanes to litigation resolving mechanism to
So across industry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So have you, again, I think there is a scenario shift there because
Yeah.
more and more youngsters want to be on their own quite early in their
Yes.
career. Because I think thinking back, we have all had our share of corporate careers and then realized, okay, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And then you go in. But I think today the scenario is shifting. A lot of kids want to be on their own very early on.
Yeah.
So have you seen that shift very evidently? Because I'm sure you have more proof about that.
No, I think acceptance from the society, except from the parents, are more today. They need more encouragement.
Yeah.
It is not that ecosystem is ready for youngsters to take on. They still have a lot of doubts. Still they need encouragement. Still they need coaching. Because see, one thing is technically being competent.
Yeah.
The other thing is being highly motivated. But there is one more key area here is the business skills.
Yes.
That needs to be developed.
Yeah.
So that is something which they all need now. There is a shift. There is definitely a shift. Yes, I do see that. Yeah.
Nice. So, as part of your funding programs, do you also offer mentorship to these?
Yes. Very, very regularly mentorship happens. I'm associated with accelerators and incubators. So I do workshops for them. Women, especially women workshops also happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does one access this kind of information? And if they want to reach out or tap into this, either college kids or women, where can they find this information?
So Campus Fund is very active in campuses. So
Across
they can,
all
yes,
campuses?
across India.
Okay.
So we are going global also now.
Okay.
So that's information is available. Almost all the colleges today, they have got incubation centers and
Yes.
all that. They can go and approach.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about women programs and where can women entrepreneurs?
So there are dedicated women programs. It's only through the social media they can come across, as I know, and they can go to those organizations. It keeps happening.
Okay.
It keeps happening. They should be tapping into those.
Through what platform? Sorry, just to clarify for our viewers.
Yeah.
So that they are able to go to a specific website. If you can mention a specific handle.
So I have to really look for specific
Okay.
website, but I think there are government programs
Okay.
for women, and it is there. Yeah, right now it is not coming into my mind. Yeah.
But please let us know so that we are
Sure,
able to
sure.
put it in the description
Yeah,
and more women can access it
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
Now I think you're doing so many things. I cannot take my mind off the fact that there are so many things you're doing. So how do you maintain efficiency in each of this? What is that one mechanism that you use to ensure that all of this is done right or justice is maintained across?
See, it's a work in progress, Raksha. There's never a perfection in any of these things.
Yeah.
You have to be extremely planned and disciplined.
Yeah.
And you have to really value your time and others also.
Yeah.
So when it's a conscious choice.
Yeah.
When you're taking up so many things, it's just not that somebody has come and given me something. Okay, chalo, I'll do this. No, I've thought through all these things and taken it up.
Right.
But it's again responsibility on me to make it happen. So you have to be extremely planned, and you have to develop a good support system to support you, and that's how you can manage. I will not say it is efficient all the time, but there will be ups and downs. But by and large, you can manage it.
Yeah. I think very early on, like you mentioned, like owning up to your decisions and sort of really working towards making it right. Now, in today's world, you have women, more and more women choosing to be on their own. And, I think, like we have been discussing, scenarios are changing. What is that advice you would give women who are starting out now, or say they're graduating, or there are women sitting at home who are planning to do something, what are some of the skills that they should hone quite early on that will help them do and fulfill their dreams of entrepreneurship?
See, first of all, they should be understanding what is the driver for them to start. I come across many women saying that, if I'm at home, a lot of things, so I want to get away from all that. And, one lady came and said that, yeah, I want to be on my own. I said, why? Oh, I'm fed up of punching every day, you punch and clock 9 hours, 10 hours and everything. I told her, now today you are going and punching. Tomorrow you have to make 100 people punch. Yeah. So there's a difference. So unless you have a strong driver, you should not start.
Right.
And I always tell people, women, that you should not be starting something to run away from something.
Yeah.
You should be moving towards something. That should be your driver to start. That's one thing. And then, inherently, or rather probably we have conditioned as women that we have to please.
Yeah.
We have to please, we have to good to people. And then the moment we become assertive, it amounts to an arrogance.
Yeah.
I think there is a very thin line between being assertive with objectivity is very important.
Yeah.
I think somewhere there, women should realize that we can't be perfect. We are also human being, and we should strive for objective assertiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and women should come forward and discuss that what they like, what they want to do openly, and then other thing is that I think the fear and also
failure.
past mistakes, delving into past mistake. I should have not done this. You should move on. As entrepreneurship, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It is 24/7. Ups and downs are part of life. When you have chosen this, you should be ready for this. And I think your families also should be ready to accept that kind of a lifestyle from a lady of the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel that it should be a conscious decision. It should not be a running away from something that you end up in something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like women, like you said, stemming out of that people-pleasing attitude is also the ability to say no. That is a very big skill that I think women should learn, because it's like you said, work in progress.
Yeah.
And but it's possible. Like you're a testimony to the possibility of doing several things.
So when it comes to skills, if you see in ecosystem, motivating women has become the primary aim of organizations.
Yeah.
I feel motivation is important, but at the same time, business skills are very, very important.
Yeah.
Women should equip themselves with business skills to run a business.
Yeah.
Be it financial skills, be it people skill,
Yeah.
be it analytical skills, be it the fundraising skills, everything. It's a skill. By definition, nobody comes with it. Even the confidence, you should be working on yourself. Hardly you see people who are confident. But after some time, when you see, they become very confident. So people associate success with confidence.
Yeah.
I do see many successful people who are underconfident. So it is nothing to do with that. I do see people who have not done great things, but they're very confident.
Yeah.
They're very happy with themselves. So again, confidence, objectivity, skills, everything should be developed.
Yeah.
You should work towards that. You should work on day in and day out. It's not easy. There is no shortcut.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to work on that, and it's developable, and then you can get the success.
But I think for someone who's starting out, right, we want to target listeners who are looking for avenues. Now, if you had to break this down, you said these are all skills. How does one get this skill? What are some of the things they can do? Or say, you may recommend a YouTube video, for example, or TED Talks. Like that, if you can guide our listeners on when you have to develop these skills, what are some of the things they can do to improve it?
So there are two ways. One is definitely self-learning,
Yeah.
YouTube, be it YouTube, attending so many seminars, conferences, everything is one way. That you go and sit through those sessions and understand and get it. Other one is through mentorship. Yeah. So you need to have, my recommendation is always to have 3 mentors. One is purely technical, who can guide you as to whatever technical field you are into, be it cybersecurity, be it a manufacturing, anything. Some expert who can guide you on that.
Okay.
Other mentor is just to listen to you. Women, just want somebody to be hearing them.
Yeah.
So because like a sounding board,
Yeah.
when you're speaking, half of your mind's clutter gets solved, and
Decluttered,
you get clarity as to which way you should be heading.
Right.
So there's someone, it can be from family, it can be from some professional background, or somebody who can listen to you like a sounding board.
Yeah.
The third is the business skills, the person who can guide you on to all that skills I mentioned, like business model analysis, to funding, to due diligence, to finance, to everything. You need to have somebody to guide you.
Right.
Its mentorship is across, it's not women or men or anybody.
Yes,
That's
yes.
mentorship is required. Yeah.
Again, a little bit more women-centric here. I think constantly we are making choices, right? Very simply, like if there could be a family event and there could be a business meeting.
Yeah.
Both are important because we are wired to be family. We are very, very social beings. We want to be part of the family, but career is important. So there's always that dilemma, and there's a step of choice that you have to make. So how has your journey been? Because I'm sure with so many things, you constantly have to make choices and more choices, I think. So how do you deal with that dilemma, and how do you recommend others treat that dilemma?
So Raksha, I think I'm blessed in one way that I have a lot of support from the family.
Okay.
That takes away a lot of pressure on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but dilemma in terms of always making the choices will be there. So it is all about prioritizing. And sometimes family gets priority, sometimes business gets priority.
Yeah.
So you have to keep juggling, and I think it is not about balancing. When you talk about balancing, that means there is some imbalance somewhere.
Yeah.
So it is all about integrating. So more and more you integrate yourself into that lifestyle of being an entrepreneur, to a family, a mother and a wife and a daughter-in-law, daughter, sister. So the way you integrate everything, that's the key here. It is definitely not easy, but by over a period of time, you can definitely strike some balance, I can say, where you can do justice to both. And you have to strike off certain things. You can't have everything on your plate. If you've made a choice of, I go on a weekend to some spiritual retreat or something, obviously your social interaction will go away. So it's a choice. What is important to you, you have to make that.
I think again it goes back to you owning up to that. Like you said, started.
Yes.
So I chose this, so I'm going to own up to it. Absolutely. So now with all this you do, right? And even in any case, there's a lot of self-doubt we may have. Times of vulnerability, times of, am I really doing it right, and things like that. There are those moments, low moments in an entrepreneur's life, and more so for women. Just because I say so, because we are wearing so many hats. We are daughters, daughter-in-laws, aunts, sisters, friends. So how do you deal with it, and how do you advise someone else deals with it?
Yeah, definitely there will be loss. There's no question about it. Ups and downs are part of any journey. And being entrepreneur, definitely even more uncertainty will be looming all the time. Self-doubt, when I say self-doubt, I used to have in initial career of my life where I had, but I consciously keep working on it, where it's an information, right? And it's informed decisions, knowledge, and even you have mentors who assess the risk and everything. By doing all these things, self-doubt can be reduced to a large extent. But when things don't go in the way you are expected it to go, doesn't happen immediately, it comes. But I think you should calm down and then reassess the whole thing and isolate that one factor which is really bothering you. It looks like you are overwhelmed by 100 things. When you isolate, there will be one or two problems which will be bothering you. So when you isolate, then you strategize that how to take out, how to de-stress or how to make it better. It can be done. Again, it's a conscious effort.
Yeah, I think the crux of it, because I'm in awe of all the things that you do, but what I see is just mindfulness in
Yes.
everything that you have done is probably allowing you to accommodate more and more things. Which brings me to this last question is, I think you are expressing your gratitude to what you do through your nonprofit, your NGO, that the foundation that you run. So how has that experience been? What is the kind of work that you do there?
So Vandhyam Foundation started with three objectives, 3 million dream, what we call. One is that 10 million free meals to be distributed, and 10 million youth to be getting the spiritual knowledge, to be confident enough to take on the world.
Okay.
And then free medical care, medical aid for people. These are the three pillars, and of course the women empowerment.
Okay.
These are the four objectives what we have. And it's all started when I started its food venture. And I started getting a lot of calls saying that somebody resides so and so, somebody is there, but there is nobody to take care, they can't afford this meals. Is there anybody else who can sponsor this for them? Do you have subscription model where we pay you and you deliver it to those people? And then I had an opportunity to see one of the hospitals where, the government hospital, patients, attendants are really struggling to get food outside. And usually these are the people who come from outside the state and they get into some OPD treatment, but that OPD goes for 6 months, 7 months. Because they come with their child, or NIMHANS, for example, or Indira Gandhi Institute of Mental, the child care, all these cluster of hospitals, wherever they stay here from West Bengal, Bihar, and multiple places for 6 months, 7 months with their kids. And a lot of government schemes cover their patients' food inside, but then outside, that is how this thought came to me, saying that why don't we start in a small way, saying that, why don't we give food? And I always believe that nobody should sleep hungry in the night. During the day, somehow you can manage, but in the night, something which I really touched me, and then we started this, and it has been it's almost like 3 years now that every day we distribute, depending on numbers, whatever we have. So we go and distribute in the cluster of hospitals.
Wonderful. Yeah. And I think, I'm sure it has been a very gratifying experience. In the Maslow's theory of need hierarchy, there is self-actualization, and I think you have attained that too now. Thank you so much for spending time with us, for sharing. I think everything you said has a volume by itself. And thank you for sharing your knowledge with us and igniting minds to our listeners too.
Thank you so much, Raksha. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and asking so many questions, which, I feel it's today, if one person gets inspired by this and gets help out of this, I'm really blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The sponsor for this episode is a social media agency called Paperplay. Paperplay as a company understand your requirement, strategize your social media play, help you with the social media calendar, complete account management, and finally, analyze the analytics. So if you're an entrepreneur, reach out to Paperplay for your social media needs. More details in the description below.